Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So we're doing our monthly roundup of the top blockchain games in terms of daily wallet activity, at least. And we can see August has been pretty busy for a number of projects. So the big thing clearly is the sort of blue up and down. So that's Crypto Blades, a fairly simple NFT based game running on the Binance Smart Chain. So that's gone up over 400,000 daily active unique wallets and come piling back down again. Alienworld's the still I suppose now the most popular blockchain game had sort of been kind of gaining momentum really over July and August. And then towards the end of August went again up over 300,000 daily active unique wallets. It's come back down again since. So they tend to have these sudden sort of explosive peaks up and down again. Obviously, a lot of that is driven by the underlying token price. So at least for these two games, you could consider them as sort of token distribution sort of methods rather than games. The game side of both these games at the moment, at least, very simple, bordering on the sort of transparent, I suppose. So they're really much more about tokenomics. We'll talk about them in a bit more detail. We also have Splinter Lands, which in any other kind of month, has basically 10x'd its active user base. That's because of the launch of the SPS token. So Splinter Lands has basically gone from about 10,000 to getting on for 150,000 daily active unique wallets. So very impressive there. Upland, not really. I mean, it has seen growth, but not a vast amount. And Axie Infinity has actually sort of declined a little bit, although there we're not really looking at on-chain kind of gameplay activity. There we're looking at people breeding and people trading the Axie NFTs. So slightly different mechanic there. So just to kind of highlight, this is on-chain activity. It sort of depends on what blockchain you're running on. So things like Wax and EOS and Hive are sort of proof-of-stake blockchains. There's no gas fees, so there's no sort of limitation there in terms of how many transactions people will do. Binance Smart Chain, there is a gas fee, and so that limits kind of what you do, and that's sort of why we get this sort of big explosion and then this big sort of collapse. I'll go into that in a bit more detail. So here maybe it's a bit easier, I think, to see on a log scale sort of what's going on. So this is obviously kind of stretching stuff out so we can see. And really the thing to see here is Crypto Blades. So it literally starts from nothing in sort of May, and then you get this kind of enormous explosive growth in July, peaking and then falling back down again. So as I say, Crypto Blades is a sort of super simple game. You have to buy an NFT character, you buy an NFT weapon. You can obviously buy more than one if you want, but and then basically you choose your character and weapon, and then you go and do combat. And combat is you basically have one of four choices, and you if you win that, you gain XP to level up your character, and basically you have to gain XP, and you can get your character to the next level, which sort of boosts the stats. And also every time you're doing stuff, you're earning the skill token, which is the underlying token in the game. So, and every time you do anything as well, you're also paying a gas fee in the BNB token. So this is a game that no one would play for the fun because there is no fun. There is really very little strategy in there either. So this is just really a way of basically sort of taking one token and replacing it with another token that you hope is going to be speculatively worth more. And that's clearly what sort of drives this massive sort of up and down peak. Because the price of the skill token at one point is $500, the price of the skill token now is $40. So something that is economic at one point suddenly becomes uneconomic and people stop playing it. I mean, that's the basic headline around Crypto Blades. That is sort of the headline to a degree around Alienworld as well, although Alienworld is a much deeper game. Maybe not much deeper, but is a deeper game in terms of one level of playing it is you buy NFTs and you mine out this token, the Trillium token. Again, the price of that has gone up and down, but it hasn't gone quite as explosively as Crypto Blades. So partly that's because the Binance Smart Chain is a very sort of heavily sort of monetized blockchain with lots of people from Binance, and there's lots of sort of what we call yield opportunity. There's lots of ways of making money on Binance Smart Chain. Lots of projects launching there, promising people the chance of making money. So you tend to have a lot of millions of dollars sort of cycling through these projects, sort of going in, seeing what they can earn, and when another opportunity comes out, or when they stop earning money, they just sort of take all their assets out and go somewhere else. So Binance Smart Chain is a pretty hard competitive place, and is much more sort of boom and bust. From that point of view, the Wax blockchain, really not much going on in terms of games, at least. And Alienworld does have a roadmap, even though they've not really fulfilled anything at all in that roadmap over the last kind of few months. Maybe I feel I'm always a little bit harsh on Alienworlds, but they do have a roadmap. And even now, if you do own some land, you can do sort of governance, some stuff around that. So they have these planets, and there is NFTs around land, so you can do some sort of deeper metagame stuff. But there's not really very much for the sort of just the kind of average player to do. So that's what's going on with those two. I'd say Uplands, not much has happened. Infinity, Axie Infinity, has been incredibly successful, but that's mainly been on in terms of the usage numbers, that's been around the off-chain activity. So that's not measured because it's just a centralized game server and people are battling their Axies. Now it's over about 1.4 million DAUs. So Axie Infinity is by far and away the biggest blockchain game if you're looking at the sort of overall ecosystem. But most of that activity is people just battling their Axies and earning the tokens. But because that all happens off-chain, apart from the claiming of the tokens, obviously it would be an on-chain transaction. We don't measure that, and so it doesn't sort of come into this sort of roundup. The other interesting one is Splinter Lands. So we can see here, I guess a bit more clearly, towards kind of mid-July, we had about 10,000 daily active unique wallets on Splinter Lands, which runs on the Hive blockchain. And then we can kind of see when the SPS token was brought in. So SPS token is the governance token for Splinter Lands. And at the moment, as with most governance tokens, there's not actually a vast amount you can do with it. But what the kind of clever thing they've done is they've announced an airdrop. And the airdrop isn't just a one-off airdrop, and it's an airdrop every day for a year. So we're about 10% of the way through. We're like a month through the launch of that. And basically what it means is whatever assets you have in the Splinter Lands game, every day you get a kind of pro rata reward. So if you have cards, or if you have liquidity, or if you have land, lots of other things you can have in that game, and you get rewarded every day with the SPS token, because obviously it's a token they've just created. It's their token; they can distribute it how they want to. So that's obviously encouraging a lot of people to come into the game, because basically they're giving away free money. It's not money; it's the SPS token, which may go obviously up or down in value. But basically, you get this token every day, and if you want to, you can just sell it off. So you can basically, you probably would have to have a lot of value in the game to gain significant sort of value from that. But literally, you can just sort of get your SPS token and just sell it off every day and get some free money. You can also stake it, so you can put it in a contract. That means you get a return on that investment, again in the SPS token. Obviously, this is all based around the SPS token because that's what Splinter Lands has created. They're giving that away, and they're using that to try and encourage kind of retention kind of models. But basically, we can see at least up to this point, this has worked really well. So they've gone from 100,000 daily active unique wallets to sort of 140,000. So that's pretty impressive sort of growth mechanic, and that's why we see so much interest in stuff like governance tokens. Now, governance tokens, I think, in the long run, do have to provide some sort of governance. That normally means people putting in proposals, people voting on that. The voting kind of sort of rights are based on how many tokens you've got. So you can give away money for a certain period of time, and obviously Splinter Lands is doing it for a year. We'll see how that plays out. But for the real sort of hardcore fans, you do have to have proper governance in there at some point, and this is I guess the next challenge for games like Splinter Lands and Axie Infinity, and even to a degree Alienworld, although its token is a sort of utility / governance token. It doesn't have two tokens, at least at the moment. So there we go. That's what's been going on. So some of these stuff, I guess, as a headline, we see some games. It's interesting. Alienworld is sort of sustaining where it is. Even though they're not really adding any features, so presumably when they start adding features, you could imagine that might grow again. Splinter Lands definitely off to a great start for its governance token, but we're going to see a lot more of this sort of Crypto Blade sort of projects coming in, not really from game developers, not really from people who've done projects before. I have no idea. I don't know anything about the team, so I can't say if they were trying to sort of scam people. Or whether it's just a sort of they overestimated the complexity of making a game. Looking at what they've made, I would imagine they haven't got a clue really about making games. To be totally frank, I don't think it was probably a scam. Although I'm sure they've probably done quite well out of it because they've created a bunch of NFTs that people have bought using the BNB token. So they basically, you know, I imagine, accumulated a fair degree of BNB token. Obviously, they created their own token, the skill token that people have also bought. So they've probably done quite well out of it. But clearly, I don't think, and I guess you have to be careful here. I think you know, people hold these assets now, so there's always a chance you can reinvigorate a project done in the right way. But I'm not terribly sure they're going to do that. But please prove me wrong. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. This is Blockchain Gaming World, where amongst other things, every month we have a look to see sort of what's going on in terms of data. I like data, so everyone has lots of opinions, but sort of data at least allows us to sort of set those in some sort of context. So thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.